Proposals are a waste of time. Instead, an agreement should be signed. How about that?
I strongly disagree.
Hey there! Have you ever wondered what a client proposal is? If they're relevant or just a big waste of time? In this video, we're gonna find out all the answers to these questions and more with a fun interview with Eddie of Clink Digital, a successful growth marketing agency. Eddie is ready to share his insights and expertise from his first-hand experience in sales. So stay tuned, you don't wanna miss this.
Thank you, Anna. Today, we're joined by Eddie Lee, the owner and operator of Clink Digital. How are you doing today, Eddie?
Oh, I'm doing good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for your time. And before we start, why don't you give us a little bit of an introduction about your agency and your general overall experience in sales?
Yeah, so we're a startup agency, and our focus is mainly on traffic, so doing SEO and PPC, but we also do some web work too. So we get, client requests for doing websites and things like that. And WordPress, mainly WordPress based.
Oh, cool. I want to play a little game, a simple game that's called Agree, Disagree. So basically what we did is searched the internet on platforms like YouTube, Quora, Reddit, and tons of dedicated sales-related blogs to see what sales and business professionals think about client proposals as a general overall business tactic, right? Now, we've got 6 questions, or should I say statements, that I want to discuss with you. So you're gonna grade it from on the scale from strongly agree to strongly disagree. Of course, they can be somewhere in the middle. You can just agree or be in the middle, let's say. So the first question is, or rather a statement, make sure you talk about price before you put together a proposal. Now, where do you stand on this one?
I strongly agree.
Okay, could you elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, so if I get like an inquiry and then it's to book a meeting, and then it's the initial meeting with the client, then I'll always like to, especially if it's face-to-face, to just gauge the ballpark budget. So I like to throw out a number, and based on their needs, of course, first seeing what they want, what their expectations are, and then I'll give them a ballpark.
Mm-hmm. Do you give a range or an assessed number? One assessed number?
Yeah, I would give a range. I'll give a range, and I would give them like on the low end of that range what that would basically include. For example, how many pages to the high end, which would be, let's say, a 5-page brochure to a 10-page that's more in depth about them, to like a 20-page with multiple location. If it's a multiple location client, then I'll give them a range.
Okay, awesome. Next up, including the ROI is one of the key parts in client proposals. Do you agree?
That one, I'm more on the disagree part of the needle. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll say it depends. Sometimes it's important. Like, so for example, if included in the package, for example, if I took a look already at their analytics and I can see that they already have a X amount of traffic, and I have a good conversation with them, a realistic conversation with them about their sales fulfillment. So if they know how many leads they can close, out of X amount of leads, they can close an X amount of done deals. So the more metrics that I have, and also the more that they're going to employ me for, like, am I going to be setting up the conversion tracking for them? And how much of it am I going to be tracking for them? Like, is it they just want to get phone calls? They just want to get form leads or a chat? then that's one thing. I'll deliver on a certain amount of X leads, right? But if they're going to also be tracking a booking and also tracking, like, say, the onboarding after, then I can give them a better number of their ROI.
Right.
So yeah, some clients though, I absolutely will not give any type of ROI because it's like, for example, a startup.
Right. And why is that?
Just because there's so many unknown variables.
Oh, right.
Yeah, there's unknown variables, and actually, I can give you just a real quick. Like, I can't show you, like, well, actually, it's not showing up, but this is a quote here. I mean, the range is from 33 to 60 to 70K, and
Right.
but there's no mention of ROI.
It's difficult to measure success in startups, right?
Yeah, and this is for a startup, so exactly what you just said. So that would be my take on that.
Okay, let's go to the next one. Oh, this is a good one. So, proposals are a waste of time. Instead, an agreement should be signed. How about that?
I strongly disagree. And yeah, and just because a proposal is it's a stage, right?
Sure.
So and so in our sales cycle, the proposal it's an important stage because then I can gauge how many proposals are out and how many are closed. So even if it's just, I mean, it doesn't have to be a fancy PowerPoint or something. So for smaller clients, it could be an email with just bullet points, right? So you're getting 5 pages, you're getting a contact form, you're getting chat set up. Even sometimes with some clients, it'll be how many folds are in each page. So just the basics, very, very basics, and then the price, and also delivery, like you mentioned at the beginning. So the time frame, this will be a good 2 weeks, and then there's how many revisions, just in bullet points. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
Amazing, great. To the next one. I think I found this somewhere on Quora. This one is definitely something that prevents a lot of agencies from sending proposals. Curious what you think about it. So it says, don't send proposals because clients can use your ideas to work with your competition. Is it paranoia or a legitimate concern?
I would say that's more near towards paranoia, but it could be a legitimate concern too. So I'd be somewhere in the middle. Sorry, somewhere in the middle.
Right.
I think it's down to the rep, the salesperson, or the consultant to initially gauge that from the client. And then also I'll add to that too. I mean, a lot of legitimate clients, they'll be upfront saying that, look, we're talking with this company, we're talking with this company, and we're talking with this company. So I already know who they're talking with. Right? They're being open about it. Right. And so if that's the case, then I'm fine with giving them my pricing and what it's included in, because it's going to help them in their decision at the end of the day. So I want them to be clear in their head that this is going to be this type of a site. I'll mention 10Web, for example, right? So I'll say, look, I can decrease your costs greatly. You don't have to have an in-house WP specialist for your speed optimization you don't have to have all these plugins, right? So I'll show them, you don't have to have all these plugins. Now they can go that and they can do that with the next guy and say, look, we want to use this as a hosting. That's fine. Right. But at least I gave them some value and at least I told them, I gave them a direction. And 9 times out of 10, if it's a really good client, then they'll appreciate that.
I see.
They'll appreciate that. Yeah. So, yeah, it's like I'll just as a quick example. I know you guys have a white label.
Yeah.
But I'd rather be an affiliate because I could just show them. I say, hey, look, this is who I use. I'm being transparent about it, and it'll save you a lot of money, right? So for $10 a month, you get a specialist. Then I'll show them too. I'll say, look, if you have a problem, I'll deal with the support, but they'll go in, they'll optimize your site, right? They'll do the tweaks. So that's just an example.
So this next one is seemingly a practical piece of advice. It says, highest paying clients never read long proposals, so keep your proposals short. I guess it's difficult not to agree, right? I would agree.
Strongly agree.
Strongly, right?
Yeah. Also, the highest paying clients, often it's not going to be one decision maker. So you'll get like the CEO, the finance person, and another person. So it's got to be simple enough that they all understand.
Right.
Yeah, and then sometimes I've done it before where I've just typed away all this stuff, and then you just get a whole bunch of questions from this guy, from the finance person, right? The accountant doesn't get it. The marketing person gets it, right? And the marketing person actually wants the finance person to get it, but that person also has to get it. And so, yeah, I think short, simple is the way to go.
Right, gotcha. And the last one, I guess with your answer, we'll uncover if you're an old school one or not. It says, include a video as a part of your proposal.
I'll be very upfront with this. I've dibbled and dabbled with video, and I've closed deals off of video. So I'm not against it, but yeah, I mean, but still at the same time, sometimes I don't do video. It depends on the client.
And what kind of clients do you think would require a video to be convinced?
I do that more for SEO and PPC when I'm sending out something on that, because then I can show them their competitors. But it would work with websites too, because you go over the website. I do that too. If I show them the GT metrics, it's easier to show them I just go to GT metrics, I put in their website, and then I say, look, this is what's lagging, right? I'm not going to go into the details, but look at your score, it's really low, right? So sometimes that makes an impact. But to be honest with you, I don't do video much. I have done it, but I don't do it much, and mainly just because sometimes I'm just on the go. I don't really think about doing the video. I just type something up and throw it at them. Yeah, so somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
But if you would say agree or disagree, where would that be?
I would say disagree.
Disagree.
Yeah.
That's a lot of hustle, right?
A lot of hustle. Exactly. A lot of hustle.
Okay. Thank you very much. This was Eddie Lee, the owner and operator of Kling Digital. Eddie, thank you very much again for your time, and take care.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Let our automated PageSpeed Booster improve your PageSpeed score and Core Web Vitals. Start for free, no credit card required.
Well, that was enlightening. Special thanks to our guest, Eddie Lee of Kling Digital, for demystifying everything surrounding client proposals. We really appreciate your honesty, Eddie. I learned a lot, and hopefully you did as well. And the great thing is that the learning doesn't have to stop here. Comment below and let us know your thoughts on the points and what topics you would like us to cover next. Until then, I'm Anna with 10web, and I'll see you next time.